Join us as we take a look at the newest big kit from Games Workshop. This is Magnus The Red, and he is awesome. Smacking bits. Alright, welcome back, Hobby Maniacs. Rob Baer here with you, taking a look at the newest big kit from Games Workshop. This is the very first Plastic Demon Primarch of Tzeentch, and judging by the story in Wrath of Magnus, spoiler alert, there's probably going to be a lot more of these guys. So I would definitely look for those, I don't know, in 2017. It's going to be crazy. But as far as this guy goes, he is really interesting because in the past, Games Workshop's big kits, they're not very, I guess you can't really assemble them in different ways. Whereas Magnus himself comes with two different weapon options, two different head options. So he's pretty cool. Like, to be honest, like we know who he is, we know what he does, we know kind of how he's supposed to look, but you can still customize him to taste, which I thought was pretty cool and a definite departure from how they did Scarbrand and Alariel. But that being said, you know, it's an incredible model. I guess they said it was about 850 hours to sculpt this bad boy and another 300 to paint it. So, I mean, what you're looking at right there is like literally pro painted, not like you find on eBay, like you find it in Nottingham's Games Workshop Warhammer World, like Hall of Fame kind of type deal. So this is an incredible model. Obviously painted to a very, very high, ridiculous standard. Now, there's the two different head options. Of course, they use the same little headdress kind of thing, and you can field them with the blade of Magnus as a blade itself or as a staff. Both of them have the little like warp energy kind of thing right there. Now, they give you all of the information on how to paint this guy in here. All the recipes, it's a full color instruction manual we're going to look at in a second. But keep in mind that some of the colors are a little bit hard to find. Like, for instance, the Baharroth Blue is a special order edge paint that's very hard to find at the G-Dub store. Sometimes they have it, sometimes they don't, but you might have to special order that one directly from Games Workshop. So not too bad of a deal there. Now, the box itself, this is a $130 kit, just same line, same price point as Scarbrand and Alariel. But what's cool about it is that when you open it up, it does the whole like collector box kind of thing. So it's not quite like a jacket kind of deal like we saw with the actual rulebook itself, but it's still pretty neat besides the point. So there you can kind of see like the Eye of Terror, and they got some Thousand Suns, and there's Magnus, and he's just like kicking it. And then it's like a box inside a box. It's like a pink horror going to a brimstone horror. It's crazy. You slide this out, and then you actually get to the models themselves. So let's zoom in on that and get a closer look at, actually let's take a look at the instruction manual first, because there's some pretty cool stuff in here. So first off, like I said, it is a full color instruction manual, so you don't have to worry about like, hey, where do I put this part and everything, because there's a lot of slices in here, a lot of computer design, a lot of slice mechanisms and customizable parts. You don't even really need to put the armor on here, as you're going to see now. There's also a lot of hollow areas, so I imagine this model is quite light actually to carry around. Now, it is on the 100 mil round base. It's not on the oval the Bloodthirster comes on, but it's still very impressive nonetheless, of course. So you can also see some of the detail that it has his own, Magnus has the old black carapace interface socket right there on his chest, and some little dimples for his armor and things. And then a lot of the armor plating goes on over top of the model itself, but the muscles and everything are still there. You don't need to install it, or you don't need to basically glue it down, kind of like with the Bloodthirster, which is really neat. And then you've got the head, the different head options, the hair goes together, all sorts of crazy. The wings themselves are nearly 3 parts, like you've got a half piece here and then the 2 wing sections glued together, which is really cool. I mean, when you see how big these wings are, and we're going to compare it to a Bloodthirster too, you kind of start to understand why they had to do this, right? And then you've got the different weapon options there. So that's pretty much how it goes together in a nutshell. And then in the back here, of course, they give you his rules data sheet, which you can cut out and use this in game. It's a nice little kind of portable little game aid right there. And then, of course, you got all the paints. Let's take a quick look through here and see if there's anything that's super crazy hard to get. They all look like they're current, except for, of course, the Baharroth Blue. They all look to be current paints, so you might not have a hard time finding all those paints. And I think Duncan actually is doing a tutorial on this guy for next week as well. So there's some impressive art on the back that looks pretty dope. Now, let's get to the sprues themselves, because these are where this kit really shines. Now, unlike some of his counterparts, he's more than just 2 big sprues. He's actually 3, well, 2.5. This, if you count this as a normal size sprue, it's 5 sprues big, but you can't really split that in half, you know what I mean? So let's zoom in on some of these parts just to kind of show you how really detailed they are, because this guy's pretty nuts. Alright, so there you go. Now you can see the different heads here. Well, let's turn it right side up. So you can see the different heads right here. You've got 3 different head options. One has an eye kind of gouged out, one doesn't, one has just one eye, and then the standard kind of head there, and you've got those different headdresses. I was actually mistaken. It looks like there's one for each head. That's pretty neat. Okay. And then all the hair assemblies, the Book of Magnus, which is actually chained to himself, some of his horn bits. That looks to be a claw. Nope, I can't tell what that is, but something important, I'm sure, nonetheless. And then we look at the wings. Oh man, that's a big sprue. We need to zoom out for that one. So you look at the wings themselves, and of course these are amazingly sculpted with all the little like symbols and everything. This is the feather side. There's the little symbol side, and then of course you got the staff or the blade. That's actually the blade that goes on his belt. Then some of his armor plates. These are his pinions that go over top of the actual wings. More pinion bits, more different armor plates and bits and things that go around different areas. And then this kind of brings it all home. He's got his legs with the feather details, and some of those parts on the other sprue. No, I think it's these ones right here. Yep, it's these ones right here. There's the Book of Magnus. There's the glowing orb, which is also optional to go on top of that. So you can save it and use it as a different terrain piece. And then you've got what looks to be a Space Wolf dreadnought arm right there that he's stepping on, doing a little Captain Morgan. Everybody's got a little Captain in him, I suppose. His arm, some more armor plating, and then you can see his torso, of course, with the black carapace interface for back in the day when he was a Space Marine. There's more sockets right there. If they just wanted to bring home the fact that he was indeed a Space Marine way back, 10,000 years ago. Some scrolls and different bits, and then of course his blade itself right there. So an amazingly detailed kit. Now let's look at these wings. Okay, there is the wings. Throwing stuff all over the place. I got a whole little stack here of things to unbox. So here's the Bloodthirster. Now this particular one here is painted by Top Miniature Studio out of Eastern Europe. Now you can kind of tell that this is just one part of the wing, and then the other part goes on there. So this wing assembly is easily bigger than the Bloodthirster. Now the Bloodthirster comes on the oval right there. And this one comes on just a circle, but I can pretty much guarantee you that just eyeballing that, it's going to be bigger and more impressive than the Bloodthirster's wings, which to date were probably some of the most badass wings out there. But now we've got these feathery ones, so that really kind of leaves us with a little bit of hope for how they're going to redesign the Lord of Change himself, if and when they actually do. I could see a 3rd demon release coming out at some point next year. Now, we've got a couple of other releases that don't really fit anywhere into the unboxing series we're doing here. So I wanted to show you these dice, which are limited edition, but I'll tell you what, I'm no diceologist. I'm definitely not a dice scientist, but they don't feel quite the same in my hands when I was rolling them. I was like, I don't know, they don't feel the same. Now, when I roll them, it's really hard to tell, but you can see right there that the Thousand Sun symbol is the 6, and the skull, of course, is the 1. Now it's cut really deep for a dice. This is the deepest I've seen a dice cut by them. But as you just saw, they still roll pretty average. I mean, obviously I don't have anything. Well, that was kind of crappy. I don't have any standards or anything like that. I just kind of fire from the hip when it comes to checking these dice out. But I can tell you that they definitely feel like they're a little bit more than standard construction and composition as far as quality goes, but I don't really like the way they roll personally, and that's just a personal thing. But they look dope. They got the super dark swirls or the really light swirls, and I could see people scooping these up. I think they're already sold out pretty much at most stores. And then there's 2 new colors this week, which I don't even know how to use them, but I'm assuming sight unseen that the base and the layer go together, which you can kind of tell right there. It's kind of like that tealy kind of blue with a little tinge that should work good on top of each other. So you got a base and a layer, and I'm sure there will be, if not already out right now, tons of paint guides on these guys here. Now, I love buying the how to paint books for $10, and I'm hoping they put out one for the Thousand Suns instead of just relying on Warhammer TV and things like that. So that's about it for this one. Thanks for watching our brand new unboxing first look of Magnus the Red.
Deleted scenes, bonus content, and all the interviews and post-game wrap-up videos can be located in the Hall of Veterans, on thelongwar.net. Visit thelongwar.net today and try a week completely free with no strings attached. That's not all. Thelongwar.net is also your hobby resource for exclusive early access with an ad-free experience to all your favorite videos. Members of the Hall of Veterans gain early exclusive access to multiple hobby videos.